Brock Purdy just did something against the Cowboys that not even Tom Brady could do. And Mike McCarthy's got a secret message for Trevon Diggs that changes everything. Plus, why did Rico Dowdle really disappear on Sunday? The official story? He was sick, but we've got the real scoop. And let me tell you, Cowboys Nation, this one's going to shock you. All that and more, coming up right now. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. Today, we're diving into some massive headlines that have everyone talking after that crushing loss to the 49ers. And boy, do we have some stories to unpack. Before we get started, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're ready for the most in-depth Cowboys coverage you'll find anywhere. Let's kick things off with the bombshell that dropped yesterday, Mike McCarthy finally breaking his silence about Trevon Diggs. Now, we all know Diggs has been going through it since that devastating ACL tear in practice, and it's been tough watching from the sidelines as our secondary struggles. McCarthy revealed in yesterday's press conference that he had a heart-to-heart with Diggs, telling him to stay locked in mentally during his recovery. Here's what McCarthy said. Word for word, the biggest thing with Trevon is staying connected to the team during this process. The mental reps are crucial. He's still a leader in that room, and we need his voice, his experience. Now, reading between the lines here, folks, this isn't just about recovery. McCarthy's clearly trying to keep Diggs engaged because we've all seen how this defense has looked without him. Those explosive plays we're giving up? That's exactly where Diggs made his money. But here's where it gets interesting. McCarthy also mentioned that Diggs has been breaking down film with the younger corners, particularly Darren Bland. That's huge, Cowboys Nation. That's the kind of leadership we need, and it shows Diggs is staying invested despite being sidelined. Now, let's talk about what everyone's buzzing about Brock Purdy making history against our Cowboys. Look, I know this one stings, but we've got to call it like we see it. Purdy became the first quarterback in NFL history to post a perfect passer rating against the Cowboys in the regular season while throwing for over 250 yards. Think about that for a second. In all the years of Cowboys football, through all the quarterbacks we've faced, nobody's done that. Not Montana, not Brady, not Rodgers, Brock freaking Purdy. The numbers are just ridiculous. 17 of 24 for 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. A perfect 158.3 passer rating. Our defense, which was supposedly one of the best in the league, looked completely lost out there. Dan Quinn's going to have some serious questions to answer about this one. But here's my take, and I know some of you might not want to hear this. This isn't just about our defense playing poorly. Purdy is legitimately good. The whole Mr. Irrelevant story is irrelevant now. He's making throws that veteran quarterbacks dream about, and Kyle Shanahan has built the perfect system around him. The quick releases, the play action, the way he uses his weapons, it's all clicking at an elite level. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What's really going on with Rico Dowdle? The official story is that he was dealing with an illness during the game, which limited his snaps significantly. But here's where things get interesting, folks. Multiple sources close to the team have been whispering that there might be more to this story. Dowdle only saw 4 snaps in that game. 4. In a game where we desperately needed to establish the run game, our number 2 back was basically invisible. The illness explanation feels a bit convenient, especially considering he was practicing fully all week leading up to the game. Here's what we do know. Dowdle was seen on the sideline multiple times, and he didn't look like someone who was battling a serious illness. He was in uniform, helmet on, ready to go. So what gives? Some speculate there might have been a disagreement about playing time or game plan implementation. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely what happened, but something doesn't add up here. The team's being very tight-lipped about the whole situation. When pressed about it in the post-game press conference, McCarthy kept it brief, saying only that Dowdle was under the weather. But we've seen sick players gut it out before. Remember Tony Romo playing through that flu game against the Cardinals? There's more to this story, and you can bet we'll be keeping a close eye on how this develops in the coming weeks. Speaking of developments, let's talk about what this means for our running back rotation going forward. Tony Pollard hasn't exactly been lighting it up, averaging just 3.9 yards per carry this season. We've all been waiting for that breakout game, but it hasn't come yet. The offensive line isn't helping either. They're clearly missing Tyler Biadas's presence in the run game. But here's the silver lining, Cowboys Nation. We've got a mini bye week coming up after that Sunday night game. That's extra time for the coaching staff to figure out what's working and what isn't. It's time to get real honest about our offensive identity. Are we really a running team anymore? Should we be? These are the questions McCarthy and Moore need to be asking themselves right now. The rivalry between these two teams has always been intense, but there's something different about these recent matchups. The 49ers have found a way to get into the Cowboys' heads, and you can hear it in Lamb's voice. This isn't just about X's and O's anymore. It's become psychological. What makes this story even more compelling is how it fits into the larger narrative of the Cowboys' recent history. They've been knocking on the door of greatness for years now, but these losses to the 49ers feel like they're holding them back from taking that next step. When a player of Lamb's caliber expresses this level of frustration, it's a sign that something needs to change. Before we wrap up, let's talk about what's next. We've got the Chargers coming up on Monday Night Football, and that's going to be a huge test for this team. How we respond to this 49ers loss will tell us everything we need to know about the character of this squad. The defense needs to prove that the Purdy game was a fluke. The offense needs to show it can establish an identity and stick to it. That's where McCarthy's leadership is going to be crucial. His message to Diggs about staying connected to the team? That needs to resonate throughout the entire locker room right now. We're at a crossroads, folks. This season can go one of two ways from here. If you've been riding with this channel, you know I always keep it real with you. This team has issues that need addressing, but we're far from done. The NFC East is still wide open, and we've got the talent to make a run. We just need to see that talent translate to the field consistently.